I have some really bad news today about a fuckboy named Martin. Now, you may not know Martin, but I'm willing to bet that you've enjoyed some of his work. Now, before I get into why Martin is such a fuckboy, let's go back a few years. Like some of you, I was introduced to the Arma series from the Dayz mod. At that time in my life, I was in my last year of college and debating on whether I was going to go for my master's or law school. Now, this is a very crucial time for me in my life, both as a person and as a YouTuber. I still was really naive. I didn't fully understand the scope of the unethical behavior that exists in the gaming industry. You see, before I got to edit movie trailers, be in commercials, and all that other bullshit that at this point I could honestly care less about, I was edgy. I was edgy in a way that nobody I watched was, by calling out bullshit as I saw it. I try to remain objective about subjects, stating my facts and opinions about it. Unfortunately, with great risk comes great consequence. I may have stepped over my bounds in a couple videos and hurt some feelings with other YouTubers. Some still won't say a word to me to this day. And somewhere along the way, I lost my balls. I didn't want to create sensationalized videos about negative shit that I didn't see was changing anything anyways. And the truth is, I was scared. I was scared I wouldn't get more opportunities in this industry I still didn't know anything about. But I get it now. Everyone's in on it. It's us versus them. Us being me and you, them being the two-faced narcissistic streamers and YouTubers who are so desperate to be liked for how they look to people on the internet and yet mindlessly promote everything that ever gets released in sad hopes it makes them momentarily accepted. The personalities of YouTube that all have the same over-dramatic reaction to the slightest hint of anything remotely funny or scary are too busy giving us an update about their new haircut than honest, critical feedback on the games they play. And the magazines, websites, and affiliates of the same companies trying to sell us a game they're supposed to be objectively reviewing, they, my friends, are all fucking in on it. Them. So hello once again, gaming industry. I'm rhinoCRUNCH, and I represent a very dangerous type of YouTuber. A guy that cannot be bought, sold, or silenced. A guy who doesn't play ball with your corporate fucking groupthink or promotional after-party. A guy who is more interested in giving honest feedback than whose feelings get hurt. Now, back to Martin the fuckwit. Sometime yesterday, all server owners for Arma 3 Taviana Desolation were threatened by Martin, the original creator of Arma 2 Taviana, to take all their servers down that ran Taviana. And they're all gone. Arma 3 Taviana Desolation is no more. Now, although Martin, I'm pretty sure pays taxes on time, confesses to his priest every Sunday and has good credit, made the terrible decision to destroy several communities with no apparent reason behind it. He was kind enough to add me on Skype to answer a few questions about why, after 6 years of him publicly releasing the map with a non-commercial use, would he take the time to maliciously reach out to server owners and threaten legal action with them. Hi, Martin. Thanks for adding me on Skype. I'm a big fan of Taviana and Origins. So I guess the question is, why are you having all the Taviana maps removed from Arma 3? Because they were ported there without my permission. Now, this is totally understandable. People shouldn't use original authors' work without their permission. But then again, he released it to the public 6 years ago with a non-commercial license for Arma 2. And Desolation has no means to monetize itself anyways. So although he didn't license Arma 3 at the time, he did license it to everyone in Arma 2. That is totally understandable, but what if they were to get your permission? Would you allow them to use the map? If they got my permission, they would be allowed to use it, of course. But I'm not giving permission to anyone for that right now, so I'm not going to discuss it. Do you need anything else? Again, I can understand how he maybe has a bad taste in his mouth from being exploited without his permission. So asking for it after the fact is kind of like eating the last appetizer at a dinner, then halfway through finishing it saying, mind if I have the last one? Now this is where the bullshit starts to flow. I guess the question is, why would you have entire communities shut down for a map that you released to the public years ago and nobody's monetizing? And the final question, do you yourself plan on releasing your own version for Arma 3? Nobody is monetizing? He does one of those little smiley face laughing on Skype. Most of the servers in Arma 3 are monetized. You have to buy VIP slots to play on them. Do any of those loyal fans send me donations even once? Nope. Now, according to Optics, the head dev of Desolation, I asked him how many exactly of the Taviana Desolation servers had paid VIP slots. And you know what his answer was? None. VIP reserve slots do not exist on Desolation servers. Even I have to wait until a slot is free. So the head dev of Desolation doesn't even have his own VIP slot for any of the Taviana servers. So everything that Martin has said so far is complete bullshit. I can't help to think you have your own Arma 3 Tavi, or perhaps your affiliation with Origins and Arma 3 version in the works. Not a few, the majority of slots in Arma 3 are VIP. That's not the point. As I said before, those people didn't have my permission to port the island to Arma 3. More lies, and this is where he starts avoiding the Arma 3 Origins questions. I notice it, and I start to apply some pressure. So again, do you have your own version of Arma 3 Taviana or Origins you are working on? Now, Martin didn't know this, but I know he has exclusively licensed his map to the Origins community. The same community which holds a monopoly on where to get your Origins server from. Which means if you've ever played Arma 2 Origins, you played it from one host only. I'm not going to name which host they are because 1, fuck them for monopolizing it, and 2, double fuck them for being a shitty host I had to deal with back when I was a customer. I don't port other people's add-ons, and I don't expect anyone to port mine without my permission. That's enough said. I'm not going to discuss this any further. So no comment on the Arma 3 Origins then. I don't see why I should comment on anything. I didn't agree to do an interview with you. I thought you needed my help. If I knew you were just going to bug me with stupid questions, I wouldn't have even added you. God bless and thanks for the time, dude. Now, fucklick Martin's excuse for shutting this community down is interesting. First, it was people didn't have my permission. Then it was because people were charging VIP slots with the map, which is just a total lie. And then when I asked him about the possibility of Arma 3 Origins having the Taviana license, he killed the interview and called my question stupid. Now, I have a few theories about this. My first theory is Martin is a fuckboy. He's like the kid who brings a basketball to the park and starts getting his ass rolled, only so he can call the game off and go home with his ball as soon as he started losing. We can't fix the world of these type of people. They exist so that all the other great, beautiful people are loved and appreciated. My second theory is he himself is licensing Tavi to another mod that may be in competition with Arma 3 Desolation, and that mod may be released in the future. Now, this is just a shot in the dark, and I have no real basis for this theory other than the whole Origins affiliation, which, if is the case, your map is great, bro, but you're a total prick. And you couldn't get me to play anything you ever created again with that shit you pulled with the Desolation community. Now, my final theory is somehow, some way, Bohemia Interactive is behind this. Now, call me a cynic, but Desolation has been experiencing resistance from the very same game developer the mod exists in from the start. Even on their workshop page, it says that this mod cannot be compatible with Arma 3, which is total horseshit. Even when threatening server owners, Martin said, quote, I've been in touch with the legal team at BI, which is the developer of the Arma series, about this, and the first step we've taken to stop this is to write to everyone and request that they remove my work from their mods. So wait, Bohemia Interactive, the same guys who make a game extremely accessible and open to the modding community, are working with modders to settle dispute amongst themselves. You see, Martin McFuckles isn't the problem. Bohemia is. Bohemia allows a very loose license for modders so that when little baby Martin doesn't like the song being played, they can come in and change the tune. So how can we change this? What can we do? Well, the first is boycott Taviana. Now, that won't do much since the servers are gone anyways, unless, of course, my second theory is right, and there is a future mod out there he exclusively licensed to, in which case, you know, he is getting paid, and boy, wouldn't it be surprising if it was Origins. But the most important thing that we can do is make our voices heard so loud on the Reddit to other Arma 3 streamers in the community and even tweet Bohemia. I'm using Martin as an example because this shit happens all the time in the Arma community. Modders release public assets for everyone to behold, love, and enjoy until, of course, they change their mind or don't like you using what they release publicly. Bohemia Interactive, you need to publicly change the way anything that is made in your game is licensed. You need to address this issue in a manner that allows all assets made for your game to be available to everyone that paid for the game, not people you play favorites with. This is something that literally doesn't exist in other games. When you make something like this, put it on the workshop, it's no longer yours. You're coding, creating, or modding using their source code and their engine. As long as people aren't making money on your work, you should be fucking thrilled that people are taking the time to innovate and build on your work 6 years later, Martin fuckboy, instead of acting like a brat and shutting entire communities down. And I'm sick of fucking tired of all this interpolitical drama that goes on with this Arma community. This isn't the first time that something like this Bohemia's let happen, but I really hope it's the last. We can't change Martin the fuckboy's decision, but maybe we can get the developers to change how the decisions are made. Tweet them now if you are as pissed off about this as me and tell them to fix their fucking licensing so this shit doesn't happen again in the future. Much love. God bless.